Isn't it so nice just to wake up and have sports to watch first thing in the morning? Oh, man, I just love having that option to just watch sports. That's what I'm currently doing. It's the Luke Kelly Show. Thank you so much for hitting play on another new episode of this show. Watching the British Open right now. Final round of the British Open going on. If you're not a big golf fan, I'm sorry to bore you with all of that, but to me as a sports fan, waking up and having sports to watch first thing, it's awesome. Like during the Olympics, when that's going on and they have some sort of event that they're showing on TV live, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this for a few hours. It's going to be excellent. That's how I feel watching the British Open. I'm not a big college football fan, and let's be honest, now the early games for college football just stink. But just to have the option of an early game to watch, it's nice. It's like I get to start off the day that I really want to spend my day just doing this, sitting on the couch or watching sports all day long. And you can't start watching sports all day long if it doesn't start in the morning, right? You can't do that. Been a lot of different TV shows that I've been watching other than just sports. Nora and I have been game show fanatics for a long time. Whenever we have dinner together, maybe once a week we'll do this. We'll go down into our basement and we'll turn on a few different game shows. There's a new one that's out. Maybe if you've watched it already. It's on ABC. It's called Generational Gap. It's hosted by Kelly Ripa, the host of Kelly and Ryan. She's pretty good at it. Always got to give her credit. But the show itself kind of fell a little flat to me. I love the premise of it. So what it is someone that's older, maybe a grandparent, an older aunt, or maybe a great aunt at that point, and a kid that is a lot younger, maybe 12, 8 years old, something like that. But the reason why it's called the generational gap is because they'll play games that only an older generation would know and not the younger generation. So say, for example, they're playing a game and they're describing something from an older generation. That question would be geared towards the younger person. So say they were trying to describe an old rotary phone. All right. They were trying to describe that. The old person couldn't chime in. It had to be the young person chiming in to say, yeah, that's a rotary phone. Like I said, good premise for the show. It just kind of felt flat because there was a lot of downtime during it. These kids were trying to think and they were silent. They weren't doing anything. They weren't making it entertaining. Same for the old people when they turned it on. And at some times when I'm watching the show, I'm like, you know what? Some of this over-the-top reaction seems a little forced. I think for episode number 1, they hired some actors. Said, we need you to go over the top. We need you to try and make this game a little interesting. Please, whatever you can. We're trying to make this game show work. And at the end, the winning team got a prize. And this is what made it feel really fake to me, is at the end, they just brought out some weird random kid that I guess was a family member, and this little kid got to pick the prize for the night. It was either a brand new Kia or this Razor. It wasn't a scooter. It was like a drifter. I don't know if you've seen these. They're wheels. They have like that side clutch on there, and you drift in it. Big with the younger kids. That little kid got to pick, who did not play the game, got to pick the prize. When you leave that choice up to a little kid, what do you think he's going to pick? You think he's going to pick a car? No. He knows he can't drive that Kia around. He's going to take that Razor. He's going to go and make sure he picks something that is going to get him some friends in the neighborhood. Although I think having a car at the age of like 7 years old would get you friends too, because you could say, hey, look, there's my car. But you can't drive them around in it. This little kid now gets to chase down the ice cream man drifting in his little Razor thing. Maybe he will be cool for the rest of the summer. I hope so. Because if I were the grandma, or if I was the kid that was playing in Generational Gap, and they chose that as the prize and not the car, I'd be pissed. I would go in the back and I would yell at that kid, be like, what kind of decision did you just make? And I would give that kid a swirly. You were thinking about yourself during that situation. You weren't thinking of the family. You know, we could have used that brand new Kia. It was some small little crossover Kia. I don't even remember the name. I just remember it was a Kia. I was like, way to come out swinging there, Generational Gap. Yeah, no one wants a Kia. Although I've heard good things about Kias. A lot of people have said that they've gotten a lot better over the last few years. So, you know what? I'll give it a little credit. It's still a car, at least. It was so funny because Ryan Seacrest was on the first show, too. It was like, oh, do you know this celebrity? Can you guess this celebrity? These people probably thinking in their head there's going to be some sort of huge celebrity in the background for this show. You know, it's episode number 1. They have to have a big time celebrity. It's just Ryan Seacrest. I'm not trying to downplay Ryan Seacrest in that scenario because I'm a big fan of Ryan Seacrest, right? He got his start in radio. He grew up on American Idol. Now he has his hands in just about everything that you watch. If it's on E, he's probably a producer on that. Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest, hands on that. He has his hands on everything. I think he's an executive producer on American Idol too. He does so much stuff. So maybe he is super popular, but I don't think Ryan Seacrest is as popular with the younger generation as he is with the millennial generation. Because you saw Ryan Seacrest on TV for everything. If you're in my generation, you know you saw him on American Idol, you saw him on The Countdown, you've seen him on just about everything. He was all over the place. You know who I really feel bad for? Is the guy that was the co-host on season number 1 of American Idol. He left the show after the first season. That was his decision to make. Like, he could have stayed around for season number 2. His career could have went on a different path. But Ryan Seacrest hung in there, hosted that show, and built up this huge empire that leads him to now being a celebrity on Generational Gap, hosted by his co-host of Live with Kelly and Ryan. Man, little kid probably goes, who's this nerd? Why are you saying this guy's famous? Why is he a celebrity? This guy's a nerd. And by the way, Ryan Seacrest has aged gracefully. Because you got to see him grow up on TV. He still kind of looks the same. Yeah, he looks a little older. He looks like a guy that would get some work done, though. Maybe a little Botox here and there. But he still looks good. Man, I was just talking to a buddy about this not that long ago. About how people now age a little bit better than people before. And I bet you a lot of that has to do with just now people figuring out how to take care of themselves and how they could keep themselves young for a lot longer. Everyone looks young now. Like 60, those people look like they're in their late 40s, early 50s. Whatever that medicine is, good for them to be able to figure that all out. Good for them. You know, something really strange happened when Nora and I were watching Generational Gap. We were watching it on Hulu because we have Hulu through our Verizon, all right? And one of the commercials that popped up during it left us baffled. We're like, we can't believe that we just watched this commercial on Hulu. And I don't even know if this runs on regular TV. I assume it doesn't just because of the content of the commercial. But listen to this. It's a Razor commercial, okay? Not a Razor scooter, but like a razor company that you use to shave your body, okay?
You can find tutorials for the masses for doing brows and curling lashes, but influencers won't mention me. Is the word pubic blasphemy? And yeah, you could ask your mama, who wants that kind of trauma? Hope can be found for your pubic mound. It's time to care for your pubic hair, however you care. Hey, Venus, for your pubic hair.
I'm not ashamed of my pubic hair. I celebrate every hair down there. If it's shaved, it's waxed, or full of hair, it's my body and it's self-care. Since history, there's been a stigma, see. If you say pubic, then you're dirty. Say pubic. But it's your choice and it's your voice. So away with that and let's make some noise.
However you care. Say pubic hair.
See, there's step one, then there's step two. Venus has the tools so you can do you.
Never thought I would ever see a commercial about pubic hair. Cartoon characters singing about pubic hair. It was hilarious. Like, it threw me off. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is the commercial that we're now getting. They're singing about pubic hair. Listen, if you don't want to shave your pubic hair, that's totally up to you. But we'll talk about it. We'll go in depth in conversation about pubic hair and how the way it should be kept. You do you when it comes to that. But if you don't want to shave it, and you want to shave every once in a while and use your Venus razor, go ahead and do that. It was strange. It was odd. And Nora and I looked at each other and we're like, this is really happening right now. We were laughing more than anything. But you know what that commercial did? That commercial had us think about those razors for a long period of time. So much so that I'm actually talking to you about these razors now on this podcast. See, that marketing did its point. Exactly what it's supposed to do. It was so attention grabbing that it led to a good conversation just in a random thing, in a random conversation. Because if you see that on TV, you're going to mention it to someone. Hey, have you seen that razor commercial on TV about shaving your pubic hair? People are getting clever now with their marketing. And good for them. I mean, I honestly thought that it was going to be basically the female version of Manscaped. I don't know if you've ever heard ads for Manscaped, but Manscaped is about keeping your family jewels all, tight down there. They don't nick. They don't do any of that. That's what I thought that it was going to be at first. And then when I heard that hell of a bop just being delivered by a cartoon character, I'm like, oh, this is a high profile ad campaign. They're going to be talking about shaving pubic hair for ages. Just think if this were the 70s or 80s where it wasn't, a thing. Shaving your pubic hair, that is. It wasn't a huge thing. Now, huge thing. Everyone does it. But just imagine this commercial airing after you just watched your favorite porn from the 70s or 80s and be like, hey, they need to care about down there too. You need to get them an endorsement with Venus so that way they shave their pubes when they're filming their favorite movies or filming their next big up-and-coming movie. Just imagine how that would be. How that would change the game. Like, at what point, at what generation did pubic hair not become a thing anymore? Who was the person that said, you know what, I don't like anything down there? And why? Why did it change the game? Because now I feel like that's the way that it's going to be for the rest of history. Unless somebody else stands up and goes, hell no, we're not doing that anymore. And listen, if you want to have hair down there, that's totally up to you. That's your decision to make. But to me, if you want to shave it, cool. If you don't, cool. Just make sure it doesn't look like the rainforest down there. Just make sure it doesn't look like you need to call a tree care company come and shape up those bushes. Just make it look a little tame. That's it. You don't have to go, fully nude. You don't have to go fully bare when it comes to shaving your pubic hair. But that's what Venus wants you to do. Shave all that pubic hair so you buy even more razors. There's some people that I know that will, go full-on razor to the sack. No, thank you. I would be worried about nicking myself so bad that I would bleed myself to death. And that would not be a good way to die. That would be an episode on 1,000 Ways to Die. Do you remember that TV show? It used to be on Spike, and whatever the hell Spike was before Spike. But it used to air late at night, and it would be these weird scenarios about how someone died having sex, or they took too many Viagras, and it made their heart rate go through the roof, and that's how they died. It was just very random things. Very random things. But I feel like that would be the way that I would go out. I nicked myself, couldn't control the bleeding, and I'm in the hospital. They're trying to do like a blood transfusion, and I just die. Anytime that I shave, it doesn't matter if it's down there, it's on my face, especially when I get around the neck area. That's where I get very cautious at. It's like, oh man, I can't nick myself right here, because if I do, I'm really going to bleed in this spot, and then I'm going to die. I don't want to die in the bathroom shaving. Be a horrible way to go out. Calling 911. Yes, what's your emergency? Yeah, I need an ambulance. I cut myself shaving. Oh, okay. How's the bleeding? I don't know. If you don't hurry up, I probably won't be able to stay on the phone because I'm going to pass out because I'm bleeding so damn bad. I know it's very dramatic, but that's just the way my brain thinks when I'm shaving, okay? And I have to shave on a pretty regular basis now. Excuse me, I used to just shave maybe once a month or so. And now I have to look presentable, so I shave it pretty much every other day or every 2 days. I would say that's probably a little bit more consistent. Line the beard up, make sure it looks good. So every couple of days, this is what I'm thinking about when I go to shave. And if you're wondering, do I leave all the hair in the sink? Nope, I don't. I rinse it out. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to leave all of my facial pubic hair all over the sink because that drives me insane. When I see videos of people that they're shaving and they put it up on TikTok, and I see all that hair on their sink, I'm like, dude, you need to clean that up. Why don't you do a tutorial on how to clean up that sink after you just shave your face? That's what they need to do. Well, all right, let's move on to a different subject. That was a really weird one. I know. Who would have ever thought pubic hair would be such a big topic of conversation on this show? Let's go from pubic hair, because I'm sure this is a good transition, to going into talking about food. No, I'm not going to, do any sort of cooking and end up, if you come over, there won't be a pubic hair of mine that end up in your food. It will be Rory hair that will end up in your food. There's a good chance of that happening. But last week, I was the king of just clearing out the refrigerator and clearing out the pantry. I was the king of it. I just went, looked to see what we had in the pantry, looked to see what we had in the refrigerator, and I said, okay, I got an idea. I got a plan of attack on what I want to make as a meal. So it started on Monday. Last Monday, this is. Nora had made some white rice. I'm like, okay, we got rice. All right, what else do we have in here? Oh, we have some chicken. I have a rotisserie chicken from Costco. Let's use that bad boy. Saw we had some frozen vegetables in the freezer. Okay. I got it. I'm going to make chicken fried rice. Let me tell you what, for someone that just threw everything together, that chicken fried rice tasted like it came from a Chinese restaurant. I don't mean to brag too much about myself, but I did a pretty damn good job, okay? I've never made chicken fried rice. I've never made fried rice before. And I crushed it. I served up a bowl for Nora, served up a bowl for myself, had a nice lunch. Man, this is dinner material. This isn't even lunch material right here. Should have saved this for the big meal of the day. But it was chef's kiss. Like, I would make that again. If I was trying to decide on a dinner to make and I had all of those ingredients in my pantry and refrigerator again, I would make it 100 times out of 100 because that's how damn good it was. Had some green onion to top it with, so it looked all bougie when I served it up. Put a little hot sauce in there. Hot sauce goes great on just about anything. Good shit. Good stuff. And then yesterday, Sunday, I wanted to make a good breakfast. I'm like, you know what? I haven't made a good breakfast for Nora in months. And honestly, I think I would have to go back to Christmas to when I made a good breakfast for Nora. I made homemade biscuits. I made homemade gravy for biscuits and gravy. And I was like, I need to do something. Haven't done it in forever. What do we have? I go in the pantry. First thing I see is an onion. I'm like, all right, we got some building blocks. You got an onion. You could use it for just about anything. Then I see some tortillas. And then I saw a bag of potatoes. I knew we had eggs. We always have eggs in the house because I'm a big egg eater. And then I'm like, all right, do we have any sort of breakfast meat? Any breakfast meat? Because I can make some bomb-ass breakfast tacos right now. Sure enough, we had some bacon. We had about a whole package of bacon. I'm like, yes, here we go. Nora was still sleeping. I started cooking, and I think the aroma in the house woke up Nora because this smelled so freaking good. Threw in the bacon so that way all the fat could be in there. Threw that in there, browned it up. And then I threw the onions in there so that way I didn't have to add any extra oil or anything. The onions could cook in the bacon grease. And once that got that nice cooked onion smell, I threw a whole bunch of potatoes in there, cut them up like home fries size. Season them, salt, pepper. Not too much salt because there was salt from the bacon in there. Pepper, garlic powder, some cayenne pepper. I was going to town on this. Let that all cook, put a lid on it so that way the potatoes could cook with all the bacon and the onions. Let that go for a while with that cover on there. Waited until the potatoes got nice and tender. Then I scrambled up about 6 or 7 eggs. Tossed those bad boys in there. Once again, didn't need to add any extra oil because of all that bacon fat that was in there. Man, dumped those eggs, scrambled them up. More salt, a little bit more salt, pepper, cayenne, garlic powder, layered that seasoning on. I mean, slap your mama good shit. That's how fantastic this breakfast was. And and I know breakfast is easy. I know throwing something together like this is just easy to do. But when you do it on a whim, you feel like you've accomplished everything in the world. Like, there's no way that anyone else can create a better breakfast taco than I did, even though there's a lot of people out there that would have made a better breakfast taco. But when you just throw it together for not really having any sort of direction and it's good, you feel like that's the recipe for life. You feel like that's the one that you would write down in a recipe book and hand down for generations. That's how damn good these breakfast tacos were. And you know what? Hell, maybe we'll make breakfast tacos for dinner too. Why not? I doubt it though. We have plans for dinner for the whole week. Nora went shopping. I shouldn't say she went shopping. She picked up the groceries. She made a grocery list. So we have meals for every single day of this week. But I could eat those breakfast tacos again. Although I do need to start eating a lot healthier again. And I need to start going to the gym. After I record this podcast, I'm taking my fat ass back to the gym and getting back into shape. My stomach has felt awful from eating the way that I've been eating for the last several months. I'm like, all right, got to get back into action. Clothes are starting to feel a little tight. And listen, I would let myself go, but I spent way too much money on new clothes for myself. So I'm not going to grow a bigger belly again and have to buy even more clothes after I just bought all these damn clothes. I'm not doing it to myself. So that's why I'm getting back into the gym. That's why I'm going to start eating healthier again. Basically because I'm too cheap and I don't want to spend even more money on clothes. Can't do it, won't do it. That's my motivation. As soon as I feel those clothes getting tight, boom, back to the gym. Let's get after it. Can't be eating any more breakfast tacos. Although you can eat breakfast tacos even if you do want to lose weight. But they're not going to be the same breakfast tacos that you want. You know, you're going to have a low-carb tortilla, probably not use real bacon, maybe turkey bacon or maybe some sort of chicken sausage. Although chicken sausage is pretty damn good. Aldi has a good selection of chicken sausage, whether it be breakfast chicken sausage or they have these chicken sausages that are geared towards having as an actual like dinner meal. They have an Italian one, apples or smoked applewood chicken sausages. They have those two. Those are really good for breakfast, and you can get a little bit more protein than you would out of a breakfast chicken sausage. So just to let you know, you could still do it if you wanted to do it. Still could. Follow my dreams of eating those breakfast tacos, okay? Follow my dreams. Eat the bad ones for you, okay? Or if you want to start eating healthy, do the healthy version of it. I'm not here to judge on that. You know what I'm here to judge, though? Amazon Prime Day. For how big of a buildup Prime Day is. It's a 2-day event. Amazon is going to sell you a whole bunch of things at a good price. Oh, yeah? Let me be the judge of that. Hop on Amazon. I think the 12th was the first day. So is that last Tuesday or Wednesday? Yeah, last Tuesday. I go on there. I'm like, there's not shit on here. And none of it's really well discounted. The stuff that's really well discounted is stuff that nobody wants. Stuff that's super old. That's why it's discounted. Although Nora did find me a nice watch box since I'm getting into the watch game. She found a nice watch box for me. So that I appreciated that gift. She ordered something on Amazon Prime Day, and it's not supposed to get here until like Tuesday. Okay, Prime Day was last week. The whole big thing of Amazon Prime, if you remember, was 2-day shipping. Get it in 2 days. It's not like that anymore. Now it's 2 days, sometimes it's a week. You don't know how long it's going to be. I feel like recently, Amazon Prime has gotten more expensive than stores, than actually going to the store and buying it. It takes longer now to get it. You could go to the store and actually get something that day. They'll have it there. It's usually cheaper now. So it's like the once great Amazon Prime. And trust me, I used to think highly of Amazon Prime. Now it's starting to slack. Not everything's 2-day shipping anymore on it. But like Amazon Prime, to me, I think has totally regressed. And another company that has totally regressed over the years that was super hot, that everyone was falling in love with, is Airbnb. Airbnb, VRBO, whichever one you use, it's not cheaper than staying in a hotel anymore. There's so many hidden fees. You'll search and you'll see a place that's available for rent for like $79 a night. That's what the room cost. And then there's a cleaning fee. Then there's, the local taxes, which the local taxes are, you expect to pay those. Then there's a cleaning fee. Then there's a processing fee. Then there is a hosting fee. And there's so many different charges that if a room is like $79 a night on Airbnb or VRBO, you know what happens? You end up paying like $110 a night for that damn room. And when you're in an Airbnb, you still don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable in an Airbnb. I still feel like I'm in someone else's house. They're watching me. And I feel like a little, like that big brother is watching whenever I stay at an Airbnb. That's why I don't really like staying at those. But now Airbnbs have become more expensive to stay at than hotels, right? It was supposed to be the cheaper option than hotels. And the same thing with like Uber and Lyft. The reason why everyone started to take those is because they were cheaper than taxis. And now, damn, it's so expensive to take a Uber or Lyft anywhere. Especially during a prime part of the day. It's really expensive. Surcharge for gas. I understand gas prices are high. But it's like all of these different fees that are included. And you know what? I think here in America, what we need to start doing is start advertising the damn price with all the taxes and all the fees in there. It's getting real annoying that you see the price and then here come all the taxes, here come all that. And, it's a big difference. Sometimes it's like, man, I wouldn't have paid all of that if I knew there was going to be all these fees in there. Just give us the damn price with everything included. It's not that hard to do. I'm getting fired up on that. Man, I just realized it's another week without doing a top 3. And I've been going for a while, so I'm not going to do a top 3 if I've been talking for 32 minutes already. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of The Luke Kelly Show. Be back on Wednesday. Nora will be here for a smut tale, okay? I'm not going to let you down 2 weeks in a row with that, all right? Because you need to get your sexy on.